Hi, my name is Hans Eriksson, and welcome to part 4 in photo scanning historic artifacts into 3D applications as well as putting it into virtual reality. And today we're going to go ahead and import this object into Unreal Engine 4. The first thing I have to do is I have to kind of put them back into their original locations so that they're laid right over each other. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to go Shift S in Blender and selection to cursor. This one here, Shift S and selection to cursor. I have to do this so that the FBXs are right on top of each other. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to uh, take this, the high, and I'm going to go File, Export as an FBX, and I'm going to put it into FBX High. And then I'm going to grab this one, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to go File, Export, FBX, and this is going to be my low res. Okay, that's for so that I can use it at a later time. However, now I'm also going to have to take this, the low res, and the one thing when I import it into Unreal Engine is I need to triangulate the mesh. So I'm going to go to Modifier, add a modifier, and right here, Triangulate, and I am going to just see, keep normals and apply. All right, now if I kind of turn off the high and hit tab to go into edit mode and come right in, you can see that the mesh is now all triangulated and it's all set for Unreal Engine 4. Okay, the next thing I need to do is export this to Unreal Engine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my Unreal Engine, and under Library I'm going to create a new project. So I'm going to go ahead and use, this one doesn't have the Substance plugin yet, this one does, so let's go ahead and launch. Give this just a second to open up. And let me go to new project, and I've already got a Photogrammetry tutorial assets, and I'm going to call this project Nazkin Figures, F-I-G-U-R-E, F-I-G-U-R-E, Figures, and create project. Okay, with that open up here, I'm going to come down to here and you can see that it's created that. But I'm going to create one more folder and I'm going to call this Nazkin Female or Nazkin F-I-G-U-R-E Female. And in fact, I think I'm going to slip that into content. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and import, and there's my Nazkin figure female. Whoops, I didn't do something yet. Let me go back to Blender, and with that triangulated mesh now, I've got a plugin that is going to automatically kind of put this where I want it to be. So I'm going to go to Unreal Engine 4 here, and under the static mesh, I want it to go to a particular folder. So let me find it here. Photogrammetry, Noskin or assets, Noskin figures, content, Noskin figure female, and I'm going to call it, well, I don't have to call it anything. I just selected the folder. And then I have to come up here and change this from auto to export recursive. And that's it. Okay, and export. I lost my export button. Ah, there we go. Export for Unreal Engine 4. And when I export that, if I slip over here, I can see that there it is. So I'm pretty much done with Blender. I can go ahead and go File and Save and close this out. Uh, I'm going to go here to Manage Plugins, and I'm going to enable my substance in UE4 and restart it. Okay, that's enabled. Now I'm going to import my FBX, and I want to make sure that a couple things are correct, and one of those is I want to import normals and MIKK T-space is enabled. Other than that, everything else looks pretty good, and I'm just going to go ahead and import. And you can see right here that this has come in. However, this normal map is not exactly what I want. The reason being is if I come over to here, and I'm going to show you this here. This is my material map. This normal map is actually came from Blender, and the problem with it is not DirectX at the moment, and I need to be DirectX. But that's okay for right now. Let me go ahead and pop this in here. In fact, if you kind of look at it here, well, it's a little hard to see. Let me go ahead and, whoops. Let me just go ahead and drag this guy into here. And I'm going to set the location to 0 and 0. I'm going to leave the Z alone. I am going to rotate it 90 degrees, 90 degrees on the Z. And there we go. Okay, if you kind of look at this, you'll see that the normals aren't quite correct. It, whoops, I moved it. There we go. The normals aren't quite correct, so I need to kind of fix that. Let me raise this little guy up here. There we go. The normals are not correct at all. So I am going to go ahead and I am going to delete that normal, and force delete. And if I double click this, you'll see it kind of gets a little skewy, but that's okay. It's all going to get fixed here in just a little bit. Okay, selecting this, I need to make sure that I have started Substance, and I'm going to launch Substance. Give it just a second. And I'm going to go ahead and close the launcher. We don't really need to see that. But the one thing I want to do now is I want to load this into Substance. So to do that, I'm going to right click on the object here, and I'm going to go say Send to Substance Painter. And the one thing that's going to ask me to do is make sure that my collision is not enabled. And I'm going to go ahead and export it. And into Substance, you see that it is now exported into Substance Source. And I'm going to kind of split this a little bit so we can see what's happening. Let me narrow this up a little bit. Okay. Now anything I do here now in Substance Source is going to be automatically updated here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this layer right here. I'm going to go to Texture Settings. No, in fact, let me come over here and I'm going to add a fill material. In that fill material, I'm going to go to File and File and Import Resource. I'm going to go to Add Resources. I'm going to find my one folder here, way up here, Google Drive. Go down to this folder here, and I'm going to go to my textures, and I'm just going to import my color texture. And I have to change it to a texture and bring it into that project and import. Now, when that's done, I have to make sure that it is not a repeat, that there is no repeating on it because it's a clip texture. And I'm just going to drag this into here. And you can see that it's automatically updating here in Substance or in Unity. I'm going to go to my texture settings now. I'm going to go ahead and add an ambient occlusion deal here and enable it. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to bake my mesh maps. I don't need an ID, but I'm going to leave everything else alone. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to choose my NOS configure male high and open it. Okay. I am good to go now. All I have to do is go ahead and bake these. And if I go to project now, or I hit OK, if I go to project, you'll see that I've got all my maps in here now. So I'm going to go ahead and drop my normal map in. I've got an ambient occlusion map. And the rest of them I don't really need right at the moment. But you can also see that it's updating automatically into Unreal Engine. The only other thing I need to do is I need to add a roughness map to it. So I'm going to add another fill layer. I'm going to disable everything except the roughness. Now, this particular item here, I remember when I was scanning it that it's kind of a sandy material. So just to be on the easy side, I'm going to come to grunges. I'm going to look for SAND. There I've got a sand uh, grunge. I'm going to go ahead and add that. And I'm going to scale it up probably about 5 times so that it's repeating about 5 times over the uh, object there. Okay, now all I've got to do is hit File and Save. It's automatically being saved exactly where it needs to be saved within Unreal Engine. And that's pretty much it. This is now been put into Unreal Engine. And if I go to the material setting, you'll see that, well, it didn't update all my links here. Let's see here. Uh, well, I may have to manually the first time go ahead and, oh, there we go. Now it's, I had to disable and just redo it. And you see everything is hooked up. The one map here that has been brought in is an occlusion roughness metallic. It uses single channels here. The red will go to the ambient occlusion. The green goes to, let me see, the green goes to metallic, and the blue goes to, no, the green goes to roughness, and the blue goes to metallic. Done. I just need to save that, and let me go ahead and bump out of here. And I just need to update the lighting now. So let's go to build and build the lighting only. In fact, I need to check one thing, see if I'm still using this texture here. I don't really want to be. I think I can delete that one. Give it just a second to finish rebuilding. With my recording, it's taking a lot longer than what I wanted it to do. There we go. Let me take a look at that material again real quick. And the base color that it's using, I believe, is the right one. Yeah, okay. So let me go ahead and I'm going to save that real quick. Close this. And I can take this texture here that came in and delete it. All right, good. I got my asset in here. It's all textured and ready to go, and it can be put into either a game engine or virtual reality at your disposal. So I want to thank you for tuning in and seeing how this process is done. And if you have any questions or concerns, drop me a line and I'll get right back to you. Thank you.